So here I'm going to demonstrate the second improv game called Park Bench, and I have two wonderful volunteers. These are my roommates, Nick, Nick England and Dee Dee Elbe, and we are all living here together in Chicago, and we all work in theater. So we know Park Bench from our old theater days, and they both have taken classes at IO. So to start, I'm going to talk about the goal of Park Bench. The goal of Park Bench is to get the bencher to leave the bench, and the person who's going to make them leave the bench is the disruptor. It's all going to make a lot more sense moving forward. The way to start working through the game with your children is going to be asking them what are some actions or things that someone sitting on a park bench would do. So I'm going to ask these two that same question. What do you guys think some actions or activities would be for someone sitting on a bench?
Relaxing. Maybe reading a book.
Could you show me reading a book? Very nice. And Nick?
Doing a crossword puzzle.
Let's see it. Very nice. Thank you both. And once you've kind of helped your kids brainstorm a couple ideas, it's going to be less stressful for them to be on stage and trying out new things. But as the game moves along, which you'll see later, it becomes more spontaneous. The second thing you want your students, or my students, or your kids to demonstrate is going to be things the disruptor could do. Now, we're looking for things that are out of the ordinary. Things that would make a bencher leave, but are mostly just kind of odd, silly things. So I'm going to ask these two again, what would be some out of the ordinary actions that the disruptor could enter and do to make the bencher get up and leave? So guys, what are some actions that you think the disruptor could do to make the bencher get up and leave? Dee Dee?
Maybe if I was reading a book, if he started reading my book over my shoulder very close to me.
Ooh, all right. Well, Nick, could you be our bencher, and Dee Dee, could you enter the space as the disruptor and do just what you said? Very nice. What a great demonstration. All right, and now we turn our attention to Nick. What would you do as the disruptor?
Clip my toenails.
Oh, gross. All right. So we're going to have Dee Dee become the bencher and choose one of the ideas we came up with earlier, or one that you guys come up with at home, and have Nick enter as the disruptor. So off you go, Nick. Nice job. I want to point out a couple of great things they both did in each of those examples. In the first, although Dee Dee was reading over Nick's shoulder, she did so without getting too much in his face. We want to be careful about personal space even in this game. As well as Dee Dee took her time, as did Nick in the second example, to enter, take a moment, and engage in the action. Neither felt rushed, and neither felt like they were trying to get on stage and get off stage as quick as possible. So I commend them for that. I also want to say with Nick's disruptor example of clipping his toenails, he made sure to take his time in sitting, taking off the shoe, and then getting out the clippers, and then clipping the toenails. If you add lots of little specific moments in each of the actions, the more clear it's going to be to the bencher that they got to get out of there. So when you're playing the game for real, moment to moment, it's more of a kind of like a cycle. Someone leaves the bench, and then the disruptor will sit and stay on the bench and become the bencher. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So let's go back and do the example where Nick was the bencher and Dee Dee entered reading the book. And I'm going to talk you guys through this one. So Dee Dee enters. She will do her action. Nick has a nice reaction and leaves. Now Dee Dee then was the person who read the book, and let's watch her transform into a new bencher, picking a new action that was different than reading a book. Ooh, she's writing something. I hope it's a grand, beautiful play. So now Dee Dee has become the bencher. Now I will enter as the new disruptor and make a different choice. Then I will transition from being the disruptor into the bencher. And my two fantastic actors can come back. You could play this game. You could play this game over and over again as long as you want. Just be careful about personal space as well as picking smart, out of the ordinary examples for both the disruptor, and interesting park benchy actions for the bencher. Hope you guys enjoy these two improv games, and I hope you try them out at home. Bye.